Hi there, I'm Pete Hall, fishing in the Portsmouth area. Thought I'd put a bit of a link on. Member of the Portsmouth Angling Club. Only went back to carp fishing this year. I had quite a big break, 6-year break, in which everything's moved on hugely. But the old tactics are still working, so I thought I'd put a bit of a couple of YouTube links onto my journey, I suppose, back to doing it all over again and see how we do. So I'm on a lake in the local, like I say, Portsmouth area today on the Pompey ticket. Lovely little lake, it's only about 4 acres big, I suppose, not very big at all. It's got some big tench, big carp in there. Obviously the carp is what I'm after. So I'll give you some views and some maybe some tips, but also just the way I fish, really. Show you what sort of things I do and how I get about it. So fishing the bags on one, and I'm fishing stick on the other. Sticking to reasonably small baits. I'm trying to catch some bites to begin with, get a bit of a feel for what the lake is. The lake itself is an old clay pit, and it's got a huge road running through the middle of it. I think I've kind of clipped up reasonably near where I think it might be. It come down with a bit of a thud, so I think we're okay in that respect. So I'm going to try some bags and sticks, see what happens, and see how we go. Now with the bag mix, I tend to do quite a mix of pellet. There's bloodworm pellet, trout pellet, mixture of green pellet, just an assortment for them to dip through. I don't use a hell of a lot of extra baits in the bag, stick mainly to the pellet. I want them to grub around, but I really want them to go for my bait. I don't want them to nick all my freebies and then leave the main bait. So normal PVA bags. Always tend to tie mine up with PVA string. I know people like that lick and twist thing, but it's not really ever been a big thing for me, to be honest with it. I always find that the bags end up splitting halfway around when I'm trying to cast, which is no good to anyone. So I tend to stick with the PVA, like I say, PVA string. A bit of that. Hook link I'm using, quite a simple one really. I'm going to put a boilie on there, but that's a little bit of the corda, which I think is brilliant, banoffee flavoured corn. They've got loads of different flavours, but banoffee is the one I like the most, and it's outstanding. Since coming back to fishing and really putting my efforts in, I've done really, really well. And I also use the corda chodder hooks as well, which I think are outstanding. I don't work for corda, by the way. It's a bit of a love of mine. I tend to stick. Everyone's got their mates. I tend to my PVA products are all ESP, just because I like that. And the hooklet materials and so on are corda. These are the other things I'm using. Nash Instants. They're a small bait. Go for a bigger one if you want. I do things like I do use Grange. I'm going to put Grange on the other rod, which I'll show you after this one goes out. But this crab and quill 15mm Instants are amazing. They're just fish just swarm to them straight away. And when you're on a new water like this, I've never fished it before. I'm basically looking to what's out here. I'm looking to see what it is I can hook up first. There's no point sticking out some massive bait hoping for a monster and you don't get a feel for where the fish are, the way they're feeding, what comes in first. That's what I'm trying to do. How quickly are they on the bait? If I know they're on it quick, I can put a bigger bait out there and give the big uns time to watch and feel and see when they want to do it. So method to the madness, as they say. We'll see what happens. Right, so on. Very, very brash, simple approach. I don't go in for all these fancy rigs. Messed around with chodder rigs and everything else. In all fairness, if the fish want the bait, they're going to take the bait. They're not going to give a flying stuff, which how you present it or what you do, they're just going to want the bait. So lovely little bait stops. These inner bait stops are cool to do with the baits. Come free with the baits is amazing. And there you go. It's a simple, very simple rig. Nothing to it. Everything's sleeved up. I don't leave anything open to get mashed up or played around with. Anchor tubing. Again, like I said, got the a sleeve on there, quarter sleeve, just an inline lead, just so it's nice and sweet in the bag, basically, because everything goes inside the bag. And then little quarter clip, quick link clips. that's it. Obviously we need to stick it in the bag now. So what I usually do, and this is a bit of a tip someone taught me once, is to put my stick mix, which I'm going to use in a minute, to stick a bit of stick mix in the bottom of the bag. I thought it was going mad, to be honest, but it works perfectly. It means the air can come out the bag, but more importantly, it just gives it a little bit of a better approach to lay the bait on. So you've got a little bit of stick mix in there. In this approach, I'll put a bit of, purely for presentation purposes, a bit of foam, which I kind of swear by. I don't tend to use it with some baits, but with this one in particular, it just means it's going to come out. I don't want it to do a lot. It's mainly to show where the bait lands, to be honest with you, so I can see where it's landing and what it's doing. So that goes in the bag, like so, and into the other. Hold it in with my fingers, hopefully. Bait there, and that can just go down sweet as a nut in the middle of the bag, like so, and then you literally just top it up with. But it's very, very basic, very, very simple, nothing to it. A baby can do it pretty much. And then the idea now, then this is where it comes into being really a bit clever with this, because it's got to be tight. So I tend to really tighten that down, push everything down. Because I don't want any air in there. I'm going to pierce it as well in a minute. Really tight. The string, twine around, tie that up. But I think you've got to do what you feel comfortable with. You know, so many people try to show me, so especially coming back into it, meeting back up with guys that stuck to it and carried on. In all fairness, they've just overcomplicated their fishing. And I sit there and I catch 5, 6 fish in a night, they're blanking and saying, what are you doing? Well, I'm sticking to what I used to do, not trying all these fandangled new stuff. So, you know, stick to what you know best, really. Then you need to, it's really important you pierce it before you start doing your cut downs and cutting everything back. Just give it a good pierce. Obviously everything has to be bone dry when it goes in here. There's absolutely no point at all bringing the bait in and trying to stick it back in the bag. It's got to be bone dry, or it's just gonna, that'll just start splitting up and you'll be gone. So you got that, push, tip down, on the side. This is the only looking stick bit I do. And then tighten it up that side. Almost like a heart. Stick that down that side. So that's the bag. Obviously you just got to trim it up to make it nice and neat, because we are a bit OCD about that. Carp fishermen tend to make everything look sweet as a nut before it goes out there. I don't know if that actually shows any relevance. Great stuff this, because you're not littering, because it melts in the water. So I'll put it down there for now, throw it in the lake, disappears. Same as it would do with the bait in it. And then you just let the edges down there. Go. One bag ready to go, pretty much. So we'll get this one out, and then I'll be back with you, and I'll show you the stick approach I do, which is slightly different, same sort of base, but just a little bit different, just a little bit different take on it. See you in a minute. Right, hi again. I'm hoping I've just hit the road. It did slip back a little bit, so it missed. We'll have to see whether I'm on it or not. But it landed nice and solid, so hopefully I've hit the road. The other one, this stick, I'm just going to put out. I've got some reeds to the right, which I'll kind of video and show you in a little while what the lake's all about. But generally it's you can't really miss. There's reeds and pads, and I gave that road a go. Bailiff kind of said it was there. Go by what the bailiff says, it's always a good sign. Bailiffs know what they're talking about. They want people to keep coming to their lake, so yeah, pretty good. Anyway, going to show you how I do my sticks, which is generally what I put on the other one. I use this, generally it's Carp fader. Do you know what, I used this stuff once, years ago. Didn't do anything with it, thought nothing of it. Used it for pike fishing, to be honest. bizarrely sat around in the drawer doing nothing for ages. Started using it on the sticks, devastating. Certainly I'm catching on it, whether that's something to do with it I don't know. But and the stick bits I got here is actually some Hinders Blitz and some of the Nash Instant Crab and Crawl that goes with the boilies I'm using. So I kind of mix that up together, a little bit of pellet, that liquid. I've actually put some chili, olive oil in there as well. Something a bit different really, just to get a bit of a thing going. Fish seem to be going to it, so again, Corda, boilie funnel web, like an advert for Corda. Like I say, you like what you like, so doing myself up a little stick, nothing too big. You're not looking at making huge, monstrous sticks here. You know, the idea is to get the fish on the attraction, and then they take the bait. The idea is not for them to come in and have a free meal. You're not here to feed the fish, you're here to catch them. So there, shut down with the plunger, really tight. There's a lot of powder in there, so if you don't get it really tight, you're going to end up with something that's just going to break the minute it hits the water. So it takes a bit of effort to get it out. That's a good sign. Means I've done it tight enough. And the simple open hand loop. Anyone watching any sort of carp thing on YouTube is going to know how to do a stick. Simple stuff. Twist it over and then through again. Done. Like I say, simple approach. I'm not here to be the master of all fishing. I'm just really trying to show people what I do. You know, who knows? Someone might be doing something slightly different. Give someone I'm doing a go and bag themselves a 20 plus. So it's got to be worth showing, isn't it? So there you go. Very simple stick, ready to rock. Same thing with the baits again. Quite a short hook length. Don't tend to. If you look, that's pretty much going to fill the stick. I don't like the tangle or anything, so it goes out solid as a rock, which is good, because there's nothing worse than that's still sharp. Holding my hand. Okay, so again, slightly different this time. That I'm using kind of helps if you have your bait out. Kind of forgot that. Bit of mainline Grange I used. Not sure yet, if I'm honest. The Nash Instants, really happy with. I've loved them since I started using them. Not so sure on the Grange at the moment. I think it's. I think you need to get a bait. You need to stick to it. Used to love Make Way. Unfortunately, been out the loop for a little while. Sounds like Make Way's gone and disappeared and done its own thing. So they've got rid of what I perceive to be one of the best baits I've ever used and replaced it with the Grange. But I'm not as keen as such on this at the moment. But same approach. I use this for everything now. It's banoffee cool. It's amazing stuff. Everyone to their own, I suppose. But for me, my catch rates since coming back, I was using a bit of yellow corn, not got anything to switch to this stuff. Spot on. I use pink corn and other corn, but artificials. But I am a bit of a sucker for an artificial corn. What I do with this, because I'm always keen to try new things, and I do feel that. So I cut little bits off. I do feel that the fish are not stupid. They're starting to get a gist of what's going on. So I just give it a bit of almost like a freebie look. You know, give it a bit of a chop. Most really does absolutely nothing, but it's all about confidence fishing. It just gives me the confidence that it looks slightly different to the norm. And I think that's important when you're fishing any bait. You've got to be comfortable when you're fishing something that's slightly different to what everyone else is using. So anyway, got that. Stick baiting needle. Always make sure the solid end stays down that end. Certainly that's what I do. Let it go from one, although usually you've got to manipulate it a bit. Damage on the way through, that's life. I think the fish are going to care less whether I've damaged it on the way through as long as it stays together enough to be the drink. Then again, not teaching the sucker, it's pretty simple stuff really with a stick. The bullet was underneath. So you've got a pretty simple rig there ready to go. There we go. And again, almost does pretty the same. I don't see the point in messing around, apart from having a release clip there. Just because I like the inline lead in the bag, it suits. This one I don't need to. I'm fishing near some reeds, it's nice that I can have the clip so it can just pop off. It's all about the fish care, to be honest with you. I think carp fishermen, thankfully, I've come back into an era where we actually care more about the fish than we do about catching, which is hugely important because they're not going to be here much longer otherwise. And there we have it. So anchor tubing down to the stick, and there we have our next rig. And that one I'm just going to flick out to the side. Gives me a chance to be able to catapult a few baits over the top of it. Nothing too big. I'll stick that one out. And that's me baiting up, so we'll get both rods out and then maybe I'll show you a little bit about what the lake looks like, a bit of a commentary of what sort of things we've got. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, right, both rods out. I said I'd give a little bit of a thing about what's going on with the lake, the type of thing we've got. This says me, little setup. And this is the lake. It's not bad at all. It's, you know, you're all confined here in my little spot, which is nice. So it's nice and safe. Very, very nice. Those houses actually back onto the lake, which is kind of bizarre. So you walk past people's back gardens to have a look at the swims, which is just a little bit strange. But you know, wow, if I could live there, that's all I'd do is fish every day. But there you go. And as you look around, it's like I say, there's round about there, right in the middle of the screen, there's a huge amount of weed, massive amount. If you like fishing in weed, fantastic. Me, not so good. So not seem to be bothered. There's the reeds there. I've got one literally just off those reeds there, on a little stick. It's deep, really deep. It amazed me. The bailiff said it dropped down, but my God, I mean, it dropped down to about 16 foot just off those reeds. It's incredible, being an ex-clay pit. And then coming back to the centre, about halfway, maybe not halfway, where the white of the reaches to the kind of green of the reflection of the trees is where I believe the road is, about 7 metres out, and I've got it. I've got a rod there, so hopefully we'll see what happens. A little bit about carp care I said earlier. It's kind of strange to talk about it, but I bought one of these huge Fox Easy Mats. I've generally bought it for France, if I'm honest, and it's I'm going to a trip in Lac Rose next year, and it's pretty good with one of those Nash. Those new Nash Wayne slings as well, which has got all the buoyancy and stuff. I've really gone for carp care since getting back into it, and it's brilliant. So yeah, anyway, rod's ready to rock. Let's see what's going to happen. Come back to you if I have anything. Hopefully not, not a blank, but let's see. But speak soon. Cheers. And there we have it. Middle of the night. I don't know. It must be 3 o'clock, and finally, we have a 21 pound common in the net. Fair play. Took long enough, but fair play. Brilliant. Anyway, time to rebait. Right, looking a bit starry-eyed. A little bit done in, to be honest with you, but that was good. Worth the wait. That was a heavy night, didn't have a beep all the time, had one tench. About 12 o'clock last night, which was average. That was good. It nearly took me. Tried to take me on the reeds, took up my other rod and everything. But yeah, getting in that nice strong hook. And she came, so rebait, it's 5:30, not 3 o'clock like I thought, so it's only an hour till I get up anyway, so I'm going to get the bait back out, have a cup of coffee, and I suppose I'll start to pack up. So, I'll finally have another one before we go.